Oh,
Well, if you remember during that time, there was a huge wave of kind of like, it was like Beatlemania, but for
for a guy that had just like blown up a marathon.
Same thing with Hassan. Stop. Sorry, it just if we mention any sort of like that, I don't know, maybe it'll get clipped. Maybe it'll get clipped. We'll get someone upset with us because they think that we're lying on their name.
Yeah.
Wait, Hassan? Isn't that the guy who said he was gonna create another 9/11 if he want or something?
I think he said he could do it from the comfort of a $6 billion mansion. He could do another 9/11. He could do two of them actually at once.
Isn't that the guy that Hassan? He's the streamer guy that funds wars in the Middle East.
Yes, he does. He funds wars in the Middle East. I think that's him.
Right, that's him. And I think if my memory's correct, it's probably right. Isn't that the guy?
That is the guy, right?
That funds wars in the Middle East.
He's also he is a member of like several designated terrorist organizations, correct?
Isn't that the guy that's a part of the lizard tribunal in the government?
I mean, I can just see then it's just this clip pauses, pulls out, and it's on a Hassan stream, and he goes, "Aren't these the guys that?"
Yeah.
Then, you know.
Yeah. The men from SuperMega sit at the center of that transformation. Their voices, comfortable and mocking, rise not from hatred, but from the strange boredom of online fame. They are jesters in a digital court that never sleeps, a place where irony is the last defense against sincerity. When they turn their attention toward Hassan Piker, the leftist streamer whose name has become synonymous with both wealth and contradiction, what emerges is not merely a roast, but a mirror of how the internet eats its own. To watch them is to see the modern condition distilled. Men who once built their craft on absurdity, now performing cynicism itself. Their laughter, at once free and forced, is the language of those who have seen too much, said too much, and trust nothing. When they joke about Hassan, about his mansion, about his politics, about the wild accusations that orbit his image like satellites, they are not engaging in debate. They are engaging in ritual cleansing. The point is not to challenge him, it is to mock the very idea that anyone could take him seriously. That is the genius and the poison of modern comedy. It makes disbelief a virtue. The joke becomes an inoculation against meaning. There was a time when the American satirist aimed his blade upward toward power. Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, they used the joke as a weapon against the state, against hypocrisy, against empire. But in the fractured world of online content, power itself has become diffused, unrecognizable. The streamer, the podcaster, the influencer, all exist in the same strange middle space. Famous but precarious, wealthy but despised, powerful but fragile. When they roast each other, it is less rebellion than ritual cannibalism, the tribe consuming its own to remind itself it still lives. When the SuperMega hosts riff about Hassan, the tone is feigned innocence. The isn't he the guy who, repetition that transforms rumor into theater. It's a performance of ignorance that knows exactly what it's doing. The comedy isn't in the truth of the claims, but in their absurdity. They name him as though conjuring a myth, a caricature of corruption, of contradiction, of hypocrisy. They speak him into being not as a man, but as a meme. And that, perhaps, is the deepest cruelty of this new medium, the flattening of the human into the content unit. Hassan Piker is not merely a streamer, he is an idea. To some, he is the poster child of socialist hypocrisy, the rich man preaching against wealth, the revolutionary in a designer home. To others, he is the last vestige of political conscience in a culture of apathy. But to the comedians, he is simply a target, a name that elicits reaction, a figure large enough to mock, but distant enough to dehumanize. In their hands, the political dissolves into performance. The leftist becomes a punchline, the capitalist a costume, the mansion a metaphor. The internet has no patience for ideology, only spectacle. And so the men behind SuperMega, who once trafficked in the surreal humor of absurd sketches and self-deprecation, now find their energy drawn toward the great vacuum of the algorithm, controversy. In the world of digital comedy, controversy is gravity. It pulls everything inward, sincerity, irony, politics, humanity, and compresses them into the dense, hot mass of virality. To roast Hassan is not to engage with his ideas. It is to touch the current, to feed the machine, to remind the audience that you, too, are unafraid to say the forbidden name. But what happens when everything becomes permissible? When irony frees the speaker from responsibility, when mockery replaces meaning, what remains of culture? Ta-Nehisi Coates once wrote of the way America disguises violence as virtue, how it cloaks its sins in myth. In the digital world, the same logic applies, but the violence is psychic, cultural. The roast becomes a form of sanctioned cruelty, an acceptable way to destroy someone without admitting you meant to. When SuperMega mocks Hassan, they are performing this new American ritual, the digital lynching with laughter as its rope. It would be too simple to call them villains. They are, in many ways, victims of the same system. The content economy demands a steady feed of outrage, of laughter, of noise. Silence is death. Reflection is irrelevant. The hosts are trapped in the same machine that rewards Hassan for streaming his politics for 12 hours a day. Both are laborers in the same field, the plantation of attention. And yet, the roast reveals something about class in the digital age. Hassan's wealth, his home, his clothes, these become symbols of betrayal in the eyes of those who built their identities on being ordinary. SuperMega's humor, once anarchic, now aligns with that resentment. The joke about the mansion is not just a jab at hypocrisy, it is an invocation of purity. It says, we may be clowns, but at least we are honest clowns. In mocking Hassan, they reaffirm their own authenticity, their distance from the corruption of success. This is the paradox of online fame. Everyone wants to succeed, but no one wants to be seen as having succeeded. To be rich is to be guilty. To be famous is to be false. Hassan, by virtue of his visibility, becomes the embodiment of that contradiction. The comedy, then, serves as absolution. By laughing at him, SuperMega absolves itself of the same sin. They perform the role of the jester who mocks the king, not realizing that in the eyes of their audience, they too wear crowns. The algorithm does not distinguish between critic and target. It rewards both equally. There is a quiet sadness beneath the laughter. The men in that room are not evil, they are tired. Tired of the constant need to produce, tired of the moral confusion that comes with influence, tired of being unsure whether what they're doing means anything. When they joke about Hassan being some absurd villain, it's not only about him, it's about the unreality of their own lives. In a world where fame feels arbitrary and moral clarity extinct, irony becomes survival. And yet, irony corrodes the soul. To live always at a slant, to never say what you mean, to laugh at the very notion of sincerity, this is not freedom. It is imprisonment in coolness, the refusal to risk belief. Coates often writes about the power of narrative, the necessity of naming things as they are. Irony, in contrast, unnames. It replaces the specificity of truth with the vagueness of mockery. When the SuperMega hosts joke about Hassan funding wars or belonging to some conspiratorial cabal, they are not speaking truth or even falsehood. They are speaking noise. It is the sound of meaning collapsing under the weight of the internet. And yet, the laughter spreads. It always does. Laughter is contagious, and in the digital age, it requires no context. A clip circulates, a joke becomes a headline, an audience laughs without knowing why. Hassan, in turn, becomes a meme in his own community, the echo of their mockery reverberating back at him through his own viewers. The line between satire and slander dissolves. This is the new ecosystem of discourse, a hall of mirrors where every reflection mocks another. The podcasters laugh at the streamer reacts to the clip, the audience mocks them both, and the machine counts the views. No one wins except the platforms that feed on the spectacle. The tragedy is that all of these men, the comedians, the streamers, the viewers, share the same wound.